Hello everybody, my name is Tiffany, I'm the Tipsy Artist, and today we are doing a beautiful painting. This is called Your Custom State Dreamcatcher, so that way you can do it with any state that you would like. And so I'm going to show you a model. We've got a couple of options to show you today. Of course we can do all the states, but we've got Texas and Oklahoma. And your template kit comes with a feather and a rose. All right, so, and again, just let your imagination go wild. You can do any state. Also, you could do the whole USA too if you wanted to. So that is also a lovely option. Let me show you a model. This is a little bit different. It is the OCHRE, but I have a little breast cancer ribbon in there too, so we can also provide that for you as well. But this is one I did for a special tribute, so this has the basic idea here, but also this as an option as well. Today we are doing our Texas one. I had a bunch done with Oklahoma, so today I'm doing a Texas one for fun. And I've got my entire trace done. I took a picture of it, posted online today so that you could see it and reference that always. And then I went ahead and painted my background black. I'm going to show you the technique on how to do that, but I felt like it would be better to do that so you wouldn't have to just sit here and watch me paint black forever. Hello, Kathy, how are you? I hope you're doing great today. All right, so let me talk to you about painting into the black though. We will absolutely give you instruction on that. Also, let me talk about the rest of our supplies real quick. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we have our brushes for y'all in our kit. And then we've got paint. Comes with beautiful paint. Thank you, thank you. Hi Jessica, hi Dana, hey Kitty. All right, so here we go. We've got paint and canvas and brushes. And let's show you the water. Any cup of water will do just fine. Hi Donna. All right, and then let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I've got a lot of paint all out for myself here. I've been painting a lot, so I've got it all ready to go. This is actually from yesterday. Painted till really late, so I'm just always painting. All right, so I've got all my black here. I'm gonna go ahead and take my mama brush. We'll start with this one. Do red, white, and blue. Oh, with pics of Oklahoma. Well, I will definitely, hi Denise. I think you're talking about the USA one, and I do have that one with all of the red, white, and blue on there, and we did do a class on that already, and it is very, very pretty. So I will provide a link for you for that one too. All right, so let's talk about the black here really quick. So I've got all this background. Mine has already dried, and then I want to go ahead and position a little bit more in for instructions, so I'll go ahead and place it all into the background and show you how to do cut-in work too. Hey, thank you so much, Jennifer. Appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and push into the black. I've got my mama brush. I'm loading it up here. Let me get it in the frame. Hey, that's better. You think I was drinking or something? Not drinking. Well, water. It's a little early for anything else. Did have a lovely glass of wine last night to relax a little bit. That's always good. If you watch my paintings later in the evening, you can always do that. You can always get your wine out, set up your place, paint, very relaxing. All right, so we've got our brush all loaded to go, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just push this back and forth. Looks like I make little tiny X's over and over and over again. So, oh, I just pushed into a little white. That's okay. That will just make it charcoal. As Bob Ross always says, or as I always say, I always say there are no mistakes, only possibilities. I think Bob Ross says something else. Oh, he says happy accidents. Yeah, that's what he says. That is a happy accident. I always say there are no mistakes, only possibilities. All right, so I'm doing my little crisscross stroke. That's going to give me really good texture here in the background. Just filling all that in. This kind of needed a little bit of a second coat anyway, because I'm seeing lots of brush strokes coming down, and so I don't really like that. I want it to be a little bit more textural, so I'm going to make sure I add more texture to this by crisscrossing back and forth. And then when I do the cut-in work, I want to go ahead and do a nice firm press into the paint. All right, there it is, nice thin line. And then that will help me do my cut-in work here. So I'll just take that all the way around those tiny little shapes there. Long lines. And then if it gets to be super small, then you can always switch over to your little buddy or a little bit, and you can paint into those smaller areas. So I've got my little buddy brush first, so I'll paint into these tiny little areas in here. Again, just hold the brush just like you would hold a pencil. That'll help you get into those smaller areas. And then to help it feather back out into the space and blend nicely into the space, I'll go ahead and turn that handle more over to the side. And then this will give me some really nice texture over the surface. And the brush stroke is the same. It's just little tiny X's over and over again. And so I'll just keep pushing those back and forth. Crisscross, back and forth. And then if you've got tiny little curves that you need to work in and around, especially this is what happens around those little feathers, for example, then I will use my little bit brush. And let's talk about how to load this up. So I take my little bit and I go ahead and do a quick little twist here into the paint. So I twist it between my fingertips, and that will give me a nice fine point. And so this is what I use to go ahead and work around like the little feathers or anything that has like a much smaller little curve to it. So it becomes very helpful with that. All right, so that's how we do all of our black cut-in work. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this brush into the bath water there. That's what I call it. I give my family a little bath here. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and paint some solid colors into the shapes. So we need to mix those up. All right, so I'm going to grab a clean mixing plate, which is really just a paper plate here or a styrofoam plate. And my color mix on this will be, all right, I'm gonna have fun with this color. I want it to be kind of like a turquoise color. So I'm going to use some of the Viridian. This comes in your kit here. This is one of my most favorite colors. Actually, this one has not been opened, so let me get one that's been opened so it won't take me so long. This one's been opened. All right, so Viridian to start with. And then a little bit of white. Let's start with that first. So I've got my Viridian and then my white, and then let's go ahead and mix those two together. Really pretty color there. That's really gorgeous just on its own. You could use just that. Gives you a really beautiful kind of a teal color. If you want to add a little bit more of the cyan blue to it though, you can, and then that will push it to more of a turquoise color. So I add just a little touch of that. I just barely take my brush, just barely dip into it, push that in. And I'm liking that. That's really pretty. All right, so I will go ahead and position this into this shape here. So Mama fits really nicely into this shape. But as you start to get close to the edge, you can go ahead and make sure you get a nice thin line edge, so I actually provide a little bit of this firm pressure here. Still loaded, but nice thin line. This will help me come in and around the edge. It's a little safer that way. So I'll do the boundary first with the cutting work. Then I'll take the brush and turn it over to the flat side to go ahead and fill in. All right, so cut in with that line right next to the edge first. And I went a little bit out of the line. That's okay, that's gonna be super easy to clean up. I can come back in with a little bit of black later and just touch that right up. Either with paint or even with Sharpie is also a really fun way to do that. Want to be careful around these tiny little lines here. It's pretty thin in here. I'm going to cut in around that little rose. So I'll do the cut-in line here first, get that done. This is going to get really small in here, so I'm going to switch brushes here in a minute so I can get into that space. Alright, I did quite a bit there with the big brush. Now I need to switch over to a smaller brush, so I'm going to be using my little buddy. We're going to push into this beautiful turquoise that we just mixed up. And little buddy's definitely small enough to get into this little small area here. If you see little brush lines, which can happen definitely with this smaller brush, then just turn it back over to the side. Use a really gentle hand, very light touch, and just kind of feather that out a little bit. Alright, so I've got all of that done. I do want to do my cleanup work real quick while I'm here. So I will come back in with the Mama to start with. So clean Mama brush, push into the black. Make sure it is a nice thin line, and it is. And then I'm just going to lightly come back in to clean up that edge right there. Just takes a couple of lines. All right, this is a really tight curve in here, so I'm going to switch to a smaller brush for that smaller area. Little bit's great for curves. So I do this little twist into the paint, rotate it in, that loads it up, but it also twists it into a nice fine point. And then I need to get where I can see because I've got a glare here. All right, so we've got that tidied up. We're looking good. Now I want to go ahead and work into my roses. All right, so I'm going to do a couple different colors here, give you an idea of how to do those. Let's start with some red and white. We'll make some pink. Bigger brush, I'm going to use Mama, so I've got a little bit of white, a little bit of red. Light pink. Now when we first do our roses, we just want to go ahead and fill in the entire shape. So at first they will look like big lumpy circles, and that's okay. That's just the first layer. We've got lots of fun layers to do. And I'll do one more pink one here. And you want to make sure you don't have any wet black nearby. You don't want to press into that. Or even the turquoise for that matter, because it will make it very muddy and you want this to be very bright. So I'm just trying to be very careful at this point. All right, so red and white, that's our base. Next color to mix up, I will make some bright yellow. Gotta have a yellow rose. A little bit of white, that helps it cover a lot better over the surface. Lay that on the flat side of the brush. That'll give you much better coverage. Hold that brush more parallel to the canvas. Let's do this one too. I'm not going to do that one because I've got a line coming through it. and that will never quite cover. So rather than fight it, we're just going to avoid that. But I can do both of those with some beautiful bright yellow and not have to worry about any of that pattern underneath, because it's just more of that circular rose pattern, which will actually work nice as a shadow underneath, even if it does peek through a little bit. These two roses I'm going to do with some beautiful purple and lavender. All right, so I need some purple. All right, so I've got some violet right here ready to go. Get a little bit of that. Nice clean brush. I dry it off just a little bit to where it's just moist. Then I'm going to add a little bit of water into this violet. I want to lighten that up a little bit more than that. A little bit more white. Right about there. That's really, really pretty. All right, almost equal parts on that. So that's white and violet. And then I'll go ahead and push into this shape here. This will cover very nicely. Keeps that Sharpie line from showing through. So now we've got a really good foundation for our roses. Let's do one more right here. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so now what we want to do is the pattern work over the top. So this is going to be fun. All right, so I will use my little bit brush, and the first layer will just be white. All right, so I'm going to take that little bit brush and push into a little bit of that white paint, do a quick little twirl into it. And then we want to basically just hold the brush onto the side. Thank you. And then you'll just make little like half circles and then position those in little half circles that will come all the way around. But really light, gentle hand for this. So there's the first one. Kind of feels like you make a half circle or a parentheses. That's the basic motion that your hand makes. And so we'll keep working that into the middle of the rose until we run out of room, basically. With just little half circles. All right, let's do this one here. Pick up a little bit more white. Little half circles, just lightly kind of touch that onto the canvas. And let's do this one here. All right, so that's a great foundation there. I want to continue white as a pattern for all the rest of the roses, but I definitely want to clean up my brush because I do have a lot of lavender on there, and that can become very muddy, especially when mixed with bright yellow. We don't want that. All right, so here we go, a little bit more white. Let's start with that yellow first. Do a light little touch with that, little half circles. Keep pushing those down just very lightly in a circular pattern that comes all the way around. Very, very light hand here. Just barely touch the top of the canvas. I also don't want to remove that thick texture of the paint on top, so very light hand on this. So half circles. Keep that pattern going in a circular direction all the way towards the inside. All right, now we'll do the same thing on the pink. And even if we touch a little bit of yellow into the pink, that will still look really pretty. Pink receives just about every color really well that's surrounding this. Blends nicely, so you don't have to have any stress about how those two are going to blend together. Because the purple will blend with pink and make almost like a magenta. And then the yellow would blend with the pink and make almost like a coral color. So they go in very beautiful directions if they happen to touch into the mix as you push those patterns through. Alright, so this is a great first step. Now we need to do the darker shadows that come in. And some people like it just the way it is. I've seen some people just stop at this point, and they just stop with the white. They're happy with the way it looks. I'm going to do one more little minimal touch with darker colors, so I'll take my little bit brush. And for the pink, the darkest shade would be red, so I'll just touch into a little bit of that red. A little touch of that. I get a little shadow just right in the center. And just do a few little strokes of that around, but not nearly as much of the darker red as I did with the white. And then another little shadow right in the center. And then just a few of these little half circles slightly placed around the rose. All right, now the shadow in the middle of the purple would just be that darkest violet color that we just have just right out of the tube. So I'll just push into that. All right, little spot right in the center. And then just very light touches of those little half circles that kind of come in and around. It's just a little bit of shadow with the petal. And again, our little tiny spot, a little shadow right in the center, and just a few little half circles of that darker violet. And then the darkest shadow here with that yellow, I'm actually going to do a little bit of red just for fun. Well, you know what? No, I'm going to do orange. That'd be pretty. You could do magenta or orange. Both of those would be really pretty. I'm going to do some orange. All right, so a little bit brush, a little touch of that cadmium orange. And a little spot right in the center. And just kind of lightly place that around. Little circular pattern. And if you want to see what a little touch of that magenta looks like, I'm actually still curious, so I'm going to do a little bit of some magenta as well. So this is our primary magenta, and I'm going to see what a little touch of that looks like in there as well. So that'll be pretty, I think. All right, so we've got our magenta. Touch down a little shadow right in the center of that orange. So just a few more of these dark little hints of color kind of running through the yellow. And this magenta blends really well with our yellow too, so it's very pretty. Nice little hints of color. All right, so I'm loving that, very pretty. All right, we want to make sure that with Texas, we want to have a few little blue bonnets that are going to pop out of our little bouquet here. So again, this may not be completely relevant with every state, but you can adjust the colors. This is a great technique that you can, as soon as you change the colors, it can transform the flower and how it looks. All right, so the blue bonnet will be the cyan blue and a little bit of white. I'm going to use my little bit brush, push into the blue first, and a little bit of that white. And then I will just press on the side. So just kind of press right like that in a diagonal right up against the canvas. So I touched into a little bit of white, a little bit of blue. Keep pushing to either side in a diagonal and then right into a little point. So first you go in little diagonals. Again, I touched into the blue and then into the white. So you get a nice little mix on the canvas of both of those. Diagonal, diagonal, either side. All right, so now you've got some beautiful blue bonnets coming out of your arrangement there. That's a lovely little touch. Now I need to do some leaves. All right, so we want a really pretty bright spring leaf here. So I have some bright yellow green. Use some of that. And then I've got my cadmium green. I've already got that on my plate. So I want to keep it bright. And I might even add a little bit of yellow to that too, my primary yellow. So I'll push this yellow, this green, bright yellow green. Looking very pretty. I'm using my little bit brush. Kind of mix those up a little bit, especially the darker cadmium green with the bright yellow green. That makes a really pretty bright green. When I'm done mixing, I'll do a quick little twist into that paint. That'll give me a nice fine point again. And then this allows me to have more control when I start to do my little leaves here. So I'll work that out to a point. There's another little leaf. So basic leaf pattern kind of looks like you make a parentheses and another parentheses, and then you just fill that in. Got a few more up here. And with some of these, I see that my leaf is coming in over the top of the flower, so I'll come back in and correct that a little bit with a little bit more of the bright flower coming in over the top. You can also load up your brush, especially at this size, and just do a quick little push down on the canvas. And that'll give you a really fun textural leaf just by pressing down. So that also works really well. Right up in there is where I'm seeing that I want a little bit more of the violet coming in over the top. Everything else I'm really pleased with the positioning right next to it, but I want just a little bit more violet just lightly coming in right there. All right. pretty. We're getting a big, beautiful bouquet here on the side of our dream catcher. All right, now I want to go ahead and do the pattern work over the tops of the feathers. So you can use any color that you like. You can go bright. We're going to go ahead and do a brown shade on these. So I need to mix that up. So I've got some cadmium red. This is a nice little trick. You need to know how to mix up some brown sometimes if you don't have any. So cadmium red, and then we will also add, let's find my little buddy brush, or a little buddy brush somewhere around here. Okay, here we go. So I'll add a little bit of black to this. So start small, little touch of black with our cadmium red, and then that will give us a really pretty brown color. You can also do this with black too, and it's very pretty. I'm going to go ahead and use more black. I want a dark teak brown, very pretty brown. So I'll darken that up a little bit. All right, so again, this is black with cadmium red. And then I will go ahead and just push into this shape here. That's getting really close to that black line, so I add a little touch of red so I wouldn't lose the nuance of that feather. One more little stripe here. And then right in through here. And I will come back in with a nice little white outline, like a little sketch of that, so we don't completely lose the shape. And then once we've got that white outline that comes around the shape, it'll really make those feathers pop out to the front. We'll give it a very beautiful look. Right now they're a little lost because of the darks right next to the darks without enough contrast, but we will definitely come back in and provide the support that they need with that lighter white line that will come in around that. So again, this is my little buddy brush, and we mixed up a little bit of brown with some cadmium red and a little bit of black. All right. Now I need a clean brush, and we're going to do a little touch of white just right through these centers here. I will come back in and also rework that center line, but I want to have the texture of the white coming in over the top. So again, these are our little feather shapes here. If you do happen to overlap just a smidge like I just did there, I actually really like the way it looks. It has a nice soft blend between the two. If you don't want to keep dragging it through that next color, then of course you'll just have to completely wipe off your brush clean and then go back into that pure white so that you can have more of that white just right over the surface. I picked up a little bit of dark there, so I'll clean it off. Again, this is just pure titanium white. Working into the feather shapes. All right, looking really good. Now we need to do that white accent line that comes in around the shape. So I've got my little bit brush. Let's turn my plate around to where I can reach this. I'll do a quick little twist here into the paint. Nice fine point. And then I'm going to just lightly come around this shape. So I'll do a few of these fun little feather strokes right around the edge. Very light hand here, very small point. So this just kind of looks like a light sketch of a line that comes in around the shape here. Remember to keep, as you load it up with paint, remember to keep twisting it into the paint though so it doesn't get too thick. So you want to make sure this line stays very thin and delicate. All right, they're still a little bit lost because we need that center line that comes right through the middle. So I will use my little bit brush again, and I dried it off. I actually washed it just now and wiped it off. Now I'm going to go into just pure black. Get that nice thin line again, and then I'll make one line right through the center. And then that will really help it pop out like a feather. That's a nice finishing touch there. And then as I drag this black through here, it actually picks up some of that white, and I'll use that to my advantage to get some of that charcoal, and I'll do a little bit more feathering right up here at the top. So just a few more little feathering strokes. Kind of lightly feather those all together. And that's really all I need, just right up there at the top, just a few more of those. All right, very pretty. Okay, so now let's see. We still have a little bit of detail that we can do with our Dreamcatcher heart to give it a look of like a little bit of a weave happening. So that's an optional thing, or you can just leave it solid too, so that's up to you. All right, so I will be taking my little bit brush here, do a nice little twist into the white paint. All right, and the first thing I'll do is just a little light curve, just one direction. Now go out from the other side. Take this all the way around. It's just real light little white lines. A little bit of texture. And I'll be cleaning up that little bit of residual white that kind of pops into the black too. I will get that here in a minute, but I'm just kind of trying to relax with it a little bit. I encourage you to do the same at home. All right, so that's our first step. Then clean off that brush. Let's go in with that black. Tidy up wherever you need to. So I've got a little bit of black popping out here, a little bit there. Not too many places, but a few. All right, so good start on that. Now we do some work that happens here in the center. We've got some beautiful pattern work that comes in there. So a little bit brush again, and then I'll do a little twist into my white paint. And I want to start first by making a nice thin white line that creates a little bit of a border. Take this all the way around. I'm also kind of steadying my hand too by placing it on my pinky. That will help a lot. Just make sure you don't put your pinky down into wet paint. But that's a good, helpful hint. Or in any place, you want to make sure your pinky's also dry and doesn't have wet paint on it too. You don't want to get it into a space that's really clean. All right, and then we'll do just a light little sketch around these shapes here. And then around our state. And then just a little touch of white accent there. Oh, and I don't want to forget that. Got this little section here too. All right, so we got our border done. Now we're going to do more pattern on the inside. So I'll make little swirls. So here's the best thing I've been able to figure out, tell people, is it's like you want to connect with what's familiar in your brain. So pretend you're making the number 6, or if you make 9s this way, the number 9 if you're going the other direction. But most people make their 6s like this. So you just start with that. See, it kind of looks like the number 6. And that feels very natural to you, so you can make your little swirls that way. And then when you become really confident with it, you can turn it the other direction. So I'll position those in all these little open spots. And I try to put them in different directions too. All right, we have more people here. Hello, Sean. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Denise. I just thought I'd say everybody on the front. That's all I can see. If there are more people, I cannot see you right now. All right, now I need to do that fun little dot trick. So I will be taking a bigger brush, using the handle, see, just like that. And I will position this down into white paint. Just like that, and then I will push straight forward. So that makes a fun little dot. So it does this every time. So this is a really fun way to make a polka dot pattern. So I'm just pressing down into the paint and then pressing straight forward on the canvas. Okay, so we've got good progress here. I also want to make sure I've got little dots and dashes that go all the way around the heart on the outside so that it frames it in nicely. So I will continue that same pattern work that I just did. So I'm going to push down into the white paint again, start right here in the center, and we'll take this all the way around that shape. And I love this technique because it always works. Even if you don't get a full compression with a nice full circle the first time, you can always hit it one more time over the top, and that will fix it right up. So we'll take this all the way around, and then here in a moment we will get our little buddy brush and we'll fill in. So this will be a really nice touch. And then just for fun, I'll add a few more kind of here and there, just surrounding the bouquet. It almost kind of looks like you've got little bits of like baby's breath peeking through. And I usually put those in like clusters of 3, so that's what it looks like. Because you want to give it some intention. Alright, so now I've got to fill in here. So I will find my little buddy brush. So here's little buddy, it's got a nice thin line edge. And we're going to press into the white. Check the edge, nice and thin. And then I'll just make little dashes. Little dashes, keep going all the way around. Yay! Alright, very nice. And let's see here. I think we are done. The only thing that you might want to do is firm up this black line in the center. This is a real subtle difference that it will make. But nice clean brush. You can do this with a Sharpie too, or paint. So I'm working into the black here. I want to make sure it's nice and thin on the edge. And then I will go ahead and just kind of firm up this shape here. Make sure that your state shape, whatever it may be, has a nice thick black line around it. So for greater ease, I would recommend a Sharpie. That would make it a lot easier on you. And thank you so much. Yeah, this painting always works out really well in classes. I've got a little bit more to do here. Alright, I think I've got it all. Sometimes I can't see because I've got the glare, but I think that's good. Okay, so I am super excited about that. And then let me talk to you about the lettering. I did that in advance, but I definitely used a pencil first. That way it gives me a little bit of forgiveness, and then when I'm happy with the way it looks, then I actually used a Sharpie on this one to get a nice tight line. You are welcome to use your little bit brush, and which is the smallest brush, and you can do that little twist into black paint. And you can also go over your lettering too. So that could even be a nice third step even. You could really firm it up with pencil, then Sharpie, and then paint last. All right. So paint is a nice finishing touch, but certainly not necessary. You could just make life super easy on yourself and just do it with a Sharpie. All right. So I love this. This is looking so beautiful. Very happy with the results. Again, know that we can custom any, template with your state. And as we continue to do, we can probably do this more than once if people have questions. It could maybe get a little bit tricky with adding different state flowers and birds, and we could have all kinds of fun and do this again and again with different states. But this gives you an awesome idea of how it looks with Texas. And then I don't have any other states made right next to me, but I also have, of course, Oklahoma too. So lots of fun choices, at least 50. So, or actually, there's more. You can also do USA, or you know what, send us a message and tell me if you want something custom in the center that we haven't thought of, so we could do that too. But yeah, so this is lovely. It looks beautiful. And I just want to thank you again so very much for joining me today. Had a great time with y'all. Tomorrow we are painting with you again at 12 noon. And then we'll be doing birdhouses. So that'd be fun. Little birds, little lovebirds and birdhouses. Will you send to Texas? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we ship all over the United States and even internationally too. So we're all good. Yes, we do that. And then everything is on our website, just tipsyartist.com. So anything you need, just let us know. We'd be happy to help y'all. But yeah, y'all have a beautiful rest of the day, and we will see you tomorrow at noon. Mwah.